as I said, the 2022 SPAR FAI Primary School Fives programme was launched by Louise Quinn yesterday. It was all at the FAI's headquarters in the Sports Campus Ireland to provide a coaching masterclass to a number of students who will be participating in the National Five-a-Side programme. The SPAR FAI Primary School Fives programme is open to boys and girls from 4th, 5th and 6th class and puts emphasis on fun and inclusivity. Register for the SPAR Fives by March the 4th at fai.ie/SPAR Primary School Fives. And I'm delighted to say Louise Quinn is with us this morning. Louise, how are you getting on?
Morning, lads. How are you?
How are you at coaching kids? Because it can be a bit like herding cats sometimes.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. As long as you just kind of keep the ball rolling, keep them entertained. You know, if you kind of lose their attention for 1 second, it's going to be tough to get them back. But no, they were. You know, it was all good, and it was a great launch yesterday for a great idea to go forward in the schools.
Are you interested in coaching as a career after you finish playing? Is that something you've already thought about?
It's something where I am doing my UEFA B currently. So it's something there. I'm not going to say that coaching is top of my list, but I think it's up there. And then obviously what the UEFA B can bring to me just kind of across the board in sports, I think is really important. I think I'm okay at it when I'm on the pitch, but then if you're to rotate me and put me there standing on the side where the manager does, I just don't know how I'll see the game, to be honest. It'll be a completely different job there. But obviously I'm just enjoying playing at the moment.
What's the biggest thing you've learned in the B licence course so far?
Say that again, sorry?
What's the biggest thing on the UEFA B licence course that you've learned so far?
I think just trying to essentially put sessions together, but when let's say numbers get cut or something happens, so they actually kind of make you put together training sessions when you go from 18 players down to almost 4 players, and so it's then adapting the session. And I think sometimes that's, when I've coached before, puts the fear of God in me. I'm like, I want an even number, I just want to do this. No one can get injured, no one can leave training early, this is what I need. So it's just about obviously just all that, the adaptation and kind of, and maybe when it comes to it, I would say I'd probably struggle to pick a team, to be honest. I'd probably be a bit too nice, I think.
That's kind of an important part of being a manager, all right. Can I ask you this? Do you feel like the coaching stuff has actually made you more appreciative of the manager's job and the difficulties involved? And in essence, is it actually making you a better player and a better teammate?
Yeah, it's definitely, you can see the game differently, for sure. And obviously you can see maybe why a coach is then actually doing a certain drill, and then how it kind of translates onto the pitch. And literally, as you say, it can be an absolute struggle. And obviously during, at the moment over the winters, during, with injuries, COVID, it's some of those things that you have to, adapt to so much. And then obviously you see it as a player that maybe if you're not playing the game, massive disappointment. And then obviously as a manager, how do you kind of, handle that and kind of take control of it? So for me, it's definitely something where I'm starting to see it a little bit from both sides.
And does that then have a knock on when you're getting tactical instructions? You're actually asking, I'm not saying better questions than you would have been, because obviously you would have been asking good questions in the first place, but like just my role in this now is part of a more continuous whole, as opposed to I just have to actually just look after my gig and I'm going to be grand.
Yeah, I think so. But I think generally as a player, I kind of do that anyway, kind of naturally. I do sometimes just kind of ask. Sometimes I actually, and I'm not going to say I ask stupid questions, but maybe a question I already kind of know the answer to. But, I feel like a couple of the girls maybe need to hear it, or it was a question that they asked earlier. So it's kind of, it definitely goes, back and forth. And I think it just leaves for good conversation then with the coach as well. If you can put across and make your point, very well, I think it just makes a bit of that communication easier. But obviously you don't want to take it, never take it too far that it seems like you're coaching the team or anything like that. Absolutely not. And I'd rather, be where I am right now.
Yeah, not yet. It seems like you're kind of slowly talking yourself into this. I'm not sure about that, and then slowly it's like, actually, you know what? I can do this.
No, you are talking me into it. I haven't been thinking about this so much.
All right, well, let's move on to the Republic of Ireland situation then. At the moment, you're in the papers today. We're obviously asked about the scenario for the World Cup, and qualification for the World Cup is about as difficult as it would be for the European Championships. It's a bit harder because obviously there's fewer European teams there, but it's not like it's a massive leap for us to be thinking and dreaming about this. It's not like we have to go, oh, well, if this campaign goes well, we'll be in good position for the European Championships. You're actually living right here in the right now, thinking there's a big opportunity for us here. Let's go for this.
Yeah, absolutely. It is an opportunity that we don't want to give up this time, and it definitely is. It definitely is a bit more difficult in terms of qualification towards the end, but as in is kind of getting the playoff spot realistic. Absolutely, and I think as well we've shown that you're able to compete against every team in this group. Obviously, be it Sweden, but then you can get some surprises. From who are technically a lower rank Slovakia. Again, even though I thought they were very, very good. So it's one of those where we the old cliche, take each game as it comes. But I think from the last campaign, you maybe ran a bit too far ahead of ourselves. Probably just the pause in play, down to restrictions didn't help anything either. So your mind starts wandering. When we were on a good flow. So obviously we're just going to try keep this going. And I think it's, we're performing well and we're enjoying our international football. So
is that an unconscious thing, Louise, that sort of getting ahead of yourself a little bit, like you mentioned there in the last campaign? Like, did you know that maybe before that Ukraine game that maybe that had already started to happen, or is it only now when you look back on it that you recognise that?
Yeah, probably when you look back at it, it is quite kind of, it's not something that you want to do, but then, and even in the moment when it does happen, you just try not think about it too much, because again, we overthought that game more than likely, and then felt kind of the pressure that came along with this. So, for us then it is, we will play Sweden. We can, there's definitely a chance for us to kind of pick up points, be it 1, maybe 3, kind of from what we showed in Tallaght. But again, only if we play, we have to play very, very well. There's no doubt about it. And then we've just got to kind of see how we go from there. And even that was it before we were ready to start the campaign. Then the game got cancelled, games have got moved. So, things have changed. So we've really just tried to kind of take it in our stride.
There's clearly been something happened in terms of just the quality of understanding of what you were trying to do, the interplay between yourselves. Was the friendly result against Australia the turning point that it seems to be from outside, or do you feel like the turning point had come before that and this was finally results catching up with performances? Or what do you put down the quantum leap forward, it seems? And maybe it doesn't feel like a massive leap forward for you guys, but certainly the results have been better, notwithstanding the Slovakia game.
Yeah, I think it was definitely something that was building, but some of the games that we had were very difficult. Even mentally, it was a little bit of both. It was like, okay, yeah, we are playing better opponents. Okay, no, we didn't win, but yeah, did we stick to our game plan and do kind of what we wanted to do? And that was happening in some of the games, not all of the games. Kind of the before the Australia game. So it was definitely a process there. Then I think we actually did hit a bit of a slump then when we kind of went to Iceland, and that was they were some very difficult games, and just kind of that was a tough one. And I think just from there it was kind of like, right, we could literally see exactly what we did wrong, and then in the next camp I think we were just buzzing to see each other, and then kind of right those wrongs, and then it really just came together in the Australia game, and just how the camp went. And we know then, when we can prepare that well, that we can then, put in a top performance. But so for me, obviously, it was, where the noticeable difference is obviously Australia, and we've taken so much from that. Even in terms of getting crowds back into the stadium and how we played and how we were able to kind of score goals, essentially. So I think that was something that we've struggled with, because we've always played opposition that essentially would have more of the ball, and where you're maybe not expected to score too many goals. And so that was then the turning point.
Yeah, and so is your expectation now that you will be able to keep possession and be creative, as opposed to trying to live off scraps, that we are going to be the ones who, at least from a philosophical point of view, there's definitely going to be times when you might come up against a Germany or a United States or England or whoever who will have more of the ball. But other than that, we're definitely going to be trying to be the team who keeps the ball.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be a thing where, we may have less of the ball, but it's how clinical we are with it. And I think that's kind of the most important thing, just kind of what we do with this. And I think then in the Slovakia game, we didn't show that. And that was, and it was our quality on the ball that really kind of, gave that away. Then obviously we showed it against Georgia, very different opponent, but for us, it was still a huge confidence booster to be able to, take control of the game. Whereas then obviously, because some, who could be a team that are, technically bottom of the group, can actually, they take control of the game almost and actually, or put it to you and try to dictate what you need to do. So for us, it's going to be, we've got friendly games coming up now in February. So for us, it'll be, I think, we'll be working a lot more on that, and it shows across the club teams that we're well capable of, as individuals, as keeping possession and having control of the ball.
On the club front then, Louise, it's been a pretty interesting start to the calendar year, I think. I mean, the win against Arsenal was obviously, I'd say, a massive moment in the journey of your season, and then obviously a bit of a setback, to say the least, against Manchester United. So where are the confidence levels at the moment after, I guess, two varying results to kickstart January?
I think it's, I think it kind of gives us a little bit more of a restart now after we kind of, after that result, the United result, because we watched it back and we kind of, we need a bit of a different mentality when there's maybe a slight bit of pressure to a game, to be honest. Going into the Arsenal game, it kind of felt like I was a kind of no pressure game, not expected to win. And listen, we caught Arsenal when they weren't at their best, and then we were very, very good on the day. Completely deserved the 3 points, but for me and talking to the coach, it's just got to be consistency in how you play, and then consistent, kind of mentally after you concede the goal. How do you react? Because for the moment it's varying a little bit too much, but I think we've done so much work and we kind of know how we want to play, and it's actually then just up to us to kind of take it out there and actually just play well, and play more a 7 out of 10 more than a 4 out of 10, and which I think has kind of been happening, to be honest.
Like, consistency is obviously the end goal in all of this, and I presume it's quite frustrating if you're not achieving that. But from all the teams that you've played with, what is the main thing that underpins consistency when you're trying to turn around this erratic form into something that does resemble something a bit more consistent?
I suppose for this team, it would be, I suppose, trusting the shape that we're in. And that's something that kind of the coach says they've obviously set us up in a certain way that can be, difficult to break down, and then also quite good when you can transition into attack. And it's one of those things. So trust the shape, trust the position that you're in. And we literally just, didn't do some of the basics right. Our basic setups, even for throw-ins, were wrong. Our basic setups for set pieces were wrong. For goal kicks, there was loads of these little things of, why are you here? Because you're supposed to be there. Like that was what we spoke about, etc., etc. And then just that, I think just being able to come every week with, with a similar energy, and obviously just how, we have some really brilliantly technical girls, but sometimes it doesn't show every week. But I actually think it's the little bit of just a little shift in mentality, and confidence, because it was a very, very tough first half of the season, and now we've really just got to switch it on though, and kind of make sure we fight this battle.
I mean, I know you don't want to be in a relegation battle when the season starts, but it does mean that every game is important, and every moment of every training session you kind of have to be alive to it. It's not like you're mid-table, it's not going one way or the other, you're kind of play out the string. Every game matters, and as a professional sports person, like, again, it's not an ideal scenario, but you must feel pretty alive with the whole thing going on.
Yeah, listen, it's just one of those, different challenges that I personally kind of haven't faced, and and it is just about trying to, as difficult as it is, to still try enjoy that and make, turn it into positives, and maybe that's easier said than done for kind of a defender in the game, because I kind of constantly get to do what I love and defend, whereas then obviously maybe if you're talking to one of the strikers, it is a different story, and they're just trying to even get touches on the ball to be able to kind of get forward. So it is, it's something else to kind of to take on. But I feel like the coaches that we have in now, they are prepping us in every way. They've thrown information at us from day dot, and it's and it's spot on. And then it's just as I said, then for us to consistently put it in, and we've shown it against Man City and Arsenal, and then actually we kind of struggle against the teams that are around us. So it's just trying to know that there is going to be pressure with the games, but that's sport and that's football, and if you don't want to be towards the bottom of the table, there's we have to dig ourselves out of it together.
Yeah, well, listen, we wish you the very best. It's potentially a historic year for women's football in Ireland. We wish you the very best with the club situation, and obviously we'll keep a very close eye on what's happening with the national team. Thanks a million for joining us this morning, Louise. Cheers.
Thank you, lads.
It's Louise Quinn giving us her thoughts there at the start of 2022, which, as I said, is hopefully going to be a massive year.